we have one of those days where nothing works. Like literally nothing has worked today.
Oh, you're talking about today.
Broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about every other day?
You said, when you have one of those days. And I was like, you mean Friday, December 11th when we're recording this?
It's been ridiculous. It should not have been this hard to get up and running. But here we are. It's working now. We're able to record.
We did it.
I've had to move to new computers, download new software.
I would like the record to show that Chris is the one who had all the technical issues. I was ready to record an hour ago.
Yes, you were. But also, I'm the one who runs all the technology. So
look,
just saying.
Okay, you have a point.
Oh, well, thank you. We already have someone watching. Thank you for whoever you are for sticking around while we figured all this out. It was ridiculous. It should not have been this hard. But all right, I'm really excited to jump into our episode today.
Me too.
I finally opened up our doc so I can actually see what we're talking about today.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Doing the bare minimum over here. But I guess we should jump into it then.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So, Allison, I worked at a bank for about 3 years. I started when I was in college, and I won't name the bank, but it was both fun and a stressful job at the same time, because I was a teller for some of the time, I was a banker for another part of the time. I wasn't great at being a banker because there was a lot of sales involved, and I wasn't that great at telling people they should get something that I didn't feel they should need. So I probably should have never attempted to be a banker, but I got to get my investment license for free, so I was like, I'm just going to go into the program. So the program was great. I got sent away to there's a city called Irvine out here. It was just a bunch of restaurants and movie theaters, and we had a great time. I made all these new friends in training, and we were there for like 4 months. And every day, that's all we did. We sat and we studied, and we took practice exams, and then all in preparation for the 3 licenses we had to earn. So when I get back, I get a pay raise. And so what do? I go buy a car. I bought a new car. It wasn't a fancy car, but it was a brand new car. And I should have made that decision because I sucked at being a banker. My numbers were horrible.
And is it a commission job?
It's kind of a mixture. There's some commission, there's a base pay, but the whole point is you're supposed to sell. Like, yes, you get paid more, but that's why you're there, is to sell these products. And I had several meetings with my boss about my production and, how I need to get my numbers up and things I need to change. And one day he sat me down in his office and he said, so, I think, you're not doing too well. Your numbers are low. And he's like, you just bought that new car. So just saying, maybe you want to work a little bit harder. Hey, this is Chris.
And this is Allison, and you are listening to This Is Awkward. Chris, did he totally shame you or try to use I feel like this is some sort of unhealthy power relationship where your old boss was trying to not only just shame you for buying a car, but then use it to try to motivate you to do better.
It as a mild threat.
What was he gonna do with the car? He's like, you just bought that new car, it's gonna be mine, we're gonna repo it. What? If you don't get your sales in, what happens to your new car? Is he going to key it? Is he going to key your car?
He wasn't going to take the car, but he could take my paycheck away.
Yeah, but this is okay. He should have said, which would have been much better because you had student loans, right?
No, I didn't have any student loans.
Oh, you had more credit card debt then, didn't you?
At this point, no, I didn't.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Really, the car is the only thing he can threaten me with. I know you're trying to threaten
me. But he can't threaten you with anything. Well, he could threaten you with losing your job.
Well, yeah, but if I lose my job, then I can't afford my car, and I got to go give it back.
I don't know.
Apparently, you don't see the threat the same way I saw the threat.
I see the threat as a very manipulative way to try to encourage your employee through fear.
Yeah, it was not a good technique.
It's called a threat. No, it wasn't. Tell me, how long did you work at this bank? At this job?
So I only lasted, I don't think I even made it a year.
You're like, then he fired me. I had to.
No, actually, I moved I stayed at the same branch, but I became a teller supervisor. And I love that job way more.
Because you don't have to sell.
Didn't have to sell anything.
You don't have to sell anything.
That was my transition. And look, Definable Cloud said, well, this is awkward. He agrees this was an awkward situation.
That is an awkward situation. What do you say back to that?
I don't know what I literally was like,
okay.
And I lied and said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do better. Knowing good and well, I wasn't going to do any better.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Well, that is awkward. I agree. This is an awkward situation, and that's what we do here. We talk about awkward money situations, just like Chris found himself in. That's an awkward money situation because, hello, he needed a job to get paid. But that's what we do. We talk about your awkward money situations and how to get through them without losing your friends and family in the process.
Yeah, and what makes this show so great, at least in my opinion, is the fact that we get to hear from all of you, and you add your awkward stories to our show. And if you want to send us your awkward story, one of my favorite ways for you to do that is to give us a call at 707-200-8259. You can be anonymous. If you don't want to say your name, do not feel pressure. You do not have to say your name. Just make up a name or just say, hey, I'm anonymous.
Oh, make up a name.
Yes.
You could be Hermione Granger. I'm just saying that would be cool.
I mean, you could. If you want to be Hermione, you want to be Hagrid, you want to be Dumbledore, you take your pick. And name yourself whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
The point is, we just want your awkward stories. You can also send us a DM on Instagram. Just come over to @ThisIsAwkwardPodcast. See, I got it right this time. I think last time we were recording, I accidentally said Popcorn Finance. @ThisIsAwkwardPodcast, and send us your awkward story there. Because that's actually where we got today's awkward story.
Yes, we did. And today's awkward story is about a couple who found themselves in an interesting situation right around the time of their engagement.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to get into this story, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Chris, guess what?
What is it, Allison? Tell me.
We already have extra bonus episodes out in our Patreon.
That's right. I think we already have 3 so far, 3 extra additional bonus episodes that aren't in our main feed. And I have to say, Allison, those are some of my favorite conversations because we kind of go off the rails a little bit and we dig into some.
People get to see the real us.
Your multi-million-dollar RV. We talked about that. What else?
We talked about a lot of things. We talk about a lot of things, and we go into post-show where Chris and I just, you just get to be behind the scenes of our normal extra conversations. And then we also dive deeper into things like what we're loving. Do we still love them? What are some bonus things that we're loving? So it's really great.
Yeah, and actually, we sometimes have to cut the show off. We would love to talk longer, but the episode's going to be so long. So we actually dive deeper into some of the awkward stories that we've received from some of you all, and kind of talk about our thoughts in some ways that we didn't have time to on the actual episode.
Exactly. What's amazing also is that it is inexpensive. It's a wonderful way to support This Is Awkward. If you want to continue to hear more from us, there are membership options, and one of them starts at just $5 a month.
Yeah. And then we also have a Discord, which is, as Allison calls it, it's like AIM.
It's not like AIM.
Anyone can go in there.
I realize it's not like AIM.
No, it's kind of like Slack. Basically, we have these rooms set up where we can go in and talk more about your awkward stories. You can share and tell us what things you're loving. And it's just a really fun place for us all to connect and talk some more.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast. Okay, Chris.
I'm ready for this. I'm very excited to hear this listener story.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get in. I'm going to read this message that we got on Instagram, and it is good. Here we go. I have to put my glasses on. Because Chris likes to say I'm 85, but I say 83.
Yeah, you're 83 and a half. And you're looking great. You don't look a day over 72.
You always know how to make a girl smile. Okay, here we go. This one says it's from someone that's going to remain anonymous. And she says, my husband, they're married now. My husband and I are both in residency and make very modest incomes. We have a joint savings account and mostly separate finances. When we are about to be engaged, we discussed what kind of ring we would be purchasing and that he would be covering the expenses. After picking the ring out and was ready to pay, he told me he does not have enough money to pay for it and asked me how much I can contribute, which should have been a red flag, but I was so excited to have my dream ring, I ignored it. I offered to pay half, which he agreed. A few days later, he told me that his half is going to be coming out of our joint bank account, which we contributed equally towards, and he would replenish his half as soon as possible. I reluctantly agreed because now I am essentially paying for 3/4 of my ring, and the joint account is supposed to be for emergencies only. However, silly me was so excited to be married, I went ahead and made the purchase anyways. Personally, I do not think he should be solely responsible for the ring because we are at similar stages of our career, but going from paying all of it to paying 1/4 of it is not okay. 4 months later, our joint bank account is still not replenished. I confronted him and discovered that he has a couple of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. He was very defensive about his debt and gave me very little information about his finances. I tried to have an open conversation, but it ended up in a fight. I'm afraid that this ring is just the tip of the iceberg of how poor financial communications will get us into trouble in the future. Please help.
Ooh, that is a tough one right there.
Yes.
There's a lot of things to unpack. I was writing some notes here because there's
Look at you.
quite a few things.
Great student.
And my memory's horrible. It's more of a factor of, I know I'm not going to remember half of this as we start talking.
At least you're honest.
Yeah,
And you say I'm 85? Come on.
My memory is at least 100. At least 100.
Well, you are a month older than me, so just remember where that puts you.
But, wait, also, A Purple Life. Hey, what's going on? She said 80 plus years at heart.
Thank you. Thank you. That's right. Who cares if I want to eat soup, wear socks, sit by the fire and read a book, and maybe do a cross stitch? There's nothing wrong with that.
You're living your best life.
That's
your
right.
best life. Dinner at 4 o'clock, bed by 6, waking up at 2 in the morning. Living your best life.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But anyway, regardless. Okay, Chris, let's go ahead and dive into this. What do you think as a man? I want your you're a man, I think. So I want to
Yes,
hear
I
your
am.
opinion on this. Like, he went from paying all of it to only paying 1/4 of it and didn't even replenish what he necessarily took.
Okay. I paid for my wife's ring. I kind of felt like it was my responsibility. Like I just assumed that's what I was supposed to do.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong if a couple decides they're going to split the cost or
Yeah.
pull it from their joint account. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the issue is you have to agree on that part at first. Like you both have to go into the saying either he's paying for it or the other person can say I'm paying for it or
Exactly.
You got to be on the same page. And it sounds like she was under the impression that he was going to pay for the ring. I don't know if maybe he said it. He must have said it. I mean, I don't know why else she would have thought that unless he said out loud, I'm going to buy this ring for you. And I think that is somewhat of a red flag that he all of a sudden changed it up. Like I think from the beginning he knew he didn't have the money. And then he kind of just slowly trickled out the news. Well, hey, can you pay for half of it right now? I don't have enough money at the moment. And then it became, well, I'm just going to take it from my joint account. Like it slowly just got worse and worse to where he eventually kind of wasn't really paying for it at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a bad sign. I mean, to be honest, like I don't want to say, oh, he's a bad
Don't
person.
marry him or anything. Yeah.
But that is not a good way to start your communication out as a couple.
No. And it's very interesting to me because I completely agree. It's okay. Like, I don't fall into this belief that like the man has to pay for the ring. The ring is a symbol. It doesn't have to be expensive. And if you want to split it in half or if you want to do that, that's fine. But it's the fact that they had an agreement and he went back on that agreement and then he went back on that agreement. So it's like he's not showing consistent, like following his word consistently, which, she said is a red flag. And then through this experience is when she uncovers, okay, he has thousands of dollars worth of credit card debt that I had no idea about, which, I'm not one to talk because my husband and I didn't really have a money conversation before we got married. But it's also the defensive. If you're going to be defensive, that's not going to open up any good doors for communication.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they're slowly peeling back the onions of his, the layers of the onion of his life.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, I don't think my wife and I don't think we sat down and like said, here's everything. I mean, we were both broke. I think both of us, like me and my wife and you and your husband, Allison, we got married like pretty young, relatively young compared to most people.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 25 and she was 24.
Okay. I was 24 and Matt was 27.
Yeah, so I think relatively young by today's standards.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we were broke, so there wasn't really much to share. We didn't have much money to.
We had a lot of debt, so
Yeah.
that was our thing that we could have hidden from each other, but we didn't.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty common for people to not sit down and be open and have these conversations because they're not easy.
No.
And I think the instant reaction is, and maybe this has to do with why he reacted the way he did. I mean, who knows what else was going on in his mind, but you have all this shame and it feels like you're just being judged. So you don't want to bring it up and talk about it because you don't want people to be like, oh, you're a horrible person. You're an idiot. Look at all these mistakes you made and laugh in your face. I think that's what we think is going to happen in our head.
Yeah, but if you're talking to someone you love and hopefully if you're willing to marry someone, then hopefully they would be willing to accept all of you. My thing is just own it. Just own your truth. Own your truth. Admit that you have the credit card debt. Admit that maybe you don't have enough money to pay for a ring right now. Just own it. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to, pretend. Don't put up this fake front and then get defensive afterwards. Like, I have issues with that. Just own your truth. And when you own your truth, yeah, it requires you to be vulnerable. But when you're being vulnerable and you're being honest, there's so much good that can come out of that. Because now what has happened is because this man was not willing to own his truth, now she has these like second guesses. She has this thing in her head saying, is he going to lie to me about, finances? Like, should I even consider joint finances with him in the future if this is what it's going to be like? But if he had said it straight up at the beginning, look, the ring's going to cost $4,000. I don't have $4,000. I don't have $2,000. If he had said, I can contribute $1,000, she could have said, okay, great. This ring is important to me. I will contribute $3,000. Or she could have said, you know what? Let's go ahead and find a $2,000 ring instead.
Okay. While you were talking, the one thing that popped in my mind was, what do you think about the idea that maybe she was putting pressure to buy this specific ring because this is what she wanted. This is what she had been envisioning. And maybe he was like, well, this is what she really wants. And so I'm going to go along with it, knowing good and well that he didn't have the money to pay for it.
Okay, I'm pulling up her call, and it says, when we were about to be engaged, we discussed what kind of ring we would be purchasing. They had a discussion about it. So maybe, she was saying, I want this ring that costs this much money. Or maybe the discussion was one-sided. And she was saying, I want this ring that's this much money. And he said, okay, dear, that's what I'll give you.
And he just nodded along with it. But he should have said something. You have to, that position is hard. Like if my wife, she kind of gave me an idea like what type of ring. Like she said she wanted a pearl ring. That's what she said she wanted. And so that was the only stipulation. So there was no other like, I want this very specific one. So I kind of had a little free reign to choose. But it can be difficult. Like if she said, I want a pearl ring and the minimum you can get one for was like $10,000.
You would have been like, you want to get married in 10 years? I'll save $1,000 a year.
As cheap as I am, I probably would have spoken up in that situation. But it would have been hard. It would not have been easy. And I think if it would have been a little less expensive than that, I didn't pay $10,000. I mean, hopefully she's not listening to this, but I didn't pay $10,000 for it. I think she probably knows that. But if it was less and maybe in a more reasonable but still expensive price range, I think it would have been hard for me to come to her and say, I can't do this. I can't afford this because I'm going to feel like I'm being cheap. And, if I love her, I should be able to buy this. And, all these, I'm the man. I should be able to blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. That's how you should relate. I want you to go to Vina tonight and be like, when are you going to make me dinner? Blah, blah, blah. I just want you to talk to her like that, and just see what she says. Can you record her response, please?
Then I'm saying, Allison, I can't come outside anime. Vina said I'm not allowed to go and hang out with anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I'm on punishment.
Vina says I'm in trouble.
For acting a fool. But yeah, I mean, I think there's pressure, but this guy sounds like he was hiding a lot of other stuff. This is like the tip.
So exactly. And I think that this is a symptom of a bigger issue. If he is not going to be willing to open up and be honest with her, that's the issue.
Yeah.
And this is a symptom of the issue. And you're going to continue to find symptoms throughout his life, throughout this relationship, until you're able to deal with the issue at hand. Same thing goes for impulse spending, right? People impulse spend not because they impulse spend because of emotions, because they're not able to deal with their emotions. The symptom is spending the money, but the real issue is maybe not, trying to numb their feelings or trying to get away from their feelings. So therefore they buy things with money that they aren't budgeting. Sorry, I just jumped into something completely different. I apologize.
No, it makes sense. But I mean, I want to ask you, so what, I zoomed in. You like that?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my goodness, let me back up a little bit.
What is your advice then? Like, so this is difficult. I don't think there's an easy answer to this. I mean, it's probably gonna be a hard conversation, either whatever decision you try to go with. But what would your advice be to our anonymous writer? My
advice would be go to her fiance or her husband. I think they're married now, and just say, look, I want us to be completely honest about the finances. We're in this together. Especially if they have a joint account, you need to be honest. If you have separate finances and, you should still be honest and be talking about it because you're in this with them. But I would go to them and say, I want to be completely honest. I want to know everything about, your finances and what you've brought into this marriage. And I want to share everything about my finances and what I've brought into this marriage. Because it doesn't need to be a shaming session. Yeah. If it turns into a shaming session, he's going to shut down. So don't turn it into that. It doesn't need to be I'm going to teach you the right way to do it either. It's not a lesson, right? It has to be a conversation. And so when she can go in and have that conversation and realize that having that conversation once doesn't mean it's going to get through right away. It doesn't mean it's going to fix everything, but being willing to go in and have conversations about let's step back and get a big picture of the finances and then talk about spending money, talk about our money habits, talk about those things every single week. And if once a week is too much, that's okay. Twice a month is fine as well.
No, I love that. And just getting in the habit of having those conversations. And I know for me, my thought is the first one's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because there's all this stuff you're dealing with. And he's going to have to open up and be willing to work on himself and his own issues. And that's the hard part is you can't make someone else deal with their issues and be open with you. You
can't. And it's just not a place for shame and guilt. Yeah. If you want someone to open up to you about something that they are worried about, the last thing you want to do is point fingers. The last thing you want to do is nag. They're going to close up. You have to be willing to say, I understand, that is your past. Those are your past money mistakes. Let's see, can we move forward and change the trajectory of your financial habits?
No, I love that. I think that's a great way to do it. So you don't cause that person to just close up and kind of push away and go in their own corner or respond with anger or just... It's not healthy. So I love that. I have no advice other than just whatever Allison said. Just go
well, I do have one more thing to say is if this ring thing is bothering her, because I know she had mentioned, she had sent a longer message, so I kind of pieced out most of it. But if it's still bothering her, I think she needs to do one of two things. They either need to come up with a plan for him to put back the money in the joint account, or she needs to come to peace with it and say, this is something that I'm willing to let go of so that we can move forward. Because sometimes you just have to let go of some of those things, knowing full well that because you're letting go of them, you're moving forward. And if that's not something she's willing to do, then they need to come up with a plan saying, okay, well, how much can you contribute every single paycheck until our account is back where we wanted it to be?
What do you think? Okay, I wanted that those last thing at you just to see how you respond. What do you think about selling the ring and just getting something less expensive?
I mean, that's definitely an option as well. I've heard of people that have sold their rings before, and that's totally fine. I don't know. I don't even wear my ring anymore. I don't even wear my diamond ring anymore. I wear these silicone band things because I kept scratching my face.
What are you doing with your hand that you're scratching your face? With
if I sit like this, my diamond would scratch my chin, or if I'm sleeping, or if I'm I've scratched my and it really started when I had babies because I would accidentally scratch their face with my ring, and I was like, oh my gosh, the symbol of love is causing so much pain. So anyway, I mean, that was a little bit dramatic, but I think that's definitely an option too. I think that is more of an option if they truly can't afford it. It seems like they paid for it with cash because they had the money. She didn't say they put it on a credit card. It's paid for in cash. She had actually mentioned it was $3,800. I took that part out. It was $3,800. So that's not overly expensive. This is not $10,000 or $15,000 ring. So if they can they didn't go into debt for it and they still have money in savings for it. But I think, though, there needs to be some sort of resolution to this, whether it is she accepts it and says, I'm putting this behind me and I'm not going to let this hang over and then therefore cause me to judge and guilt trip, and do those things to him, or come up with a plan to where she feels like he did contribute 50%.
No, I love that. And hopefully, Anonymous, this gives you a good place to start. And
Yes.
we hope good things come from this conversation, and then you guys can come together and make improvements with your communication on money and have a great life together. So please let us know after
Yes.
your conversation. We want to know how this went.
We do. And you can let us know if it went badly. You can let us know if you went to him and you were like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and, I want us to have like a big money conversation and it's not going to be shame and I'm not going to do all these things. And if he blows up at you, we want to know.
Exactly.
But if he's
so
all
shame him. I want to shame him on the
we
air.
don't want to.
Shame.
Chris, we're going to lose listeners if you keep shouting the word shame. Guilt. Oh, I want to say something, but I won't say it right now. There's something I want.
Great self-control.
Yes, thank you. It's only because we're recording this live. Otherwise, I would have said it and asked you to cut it out. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for the call. We really do appreciate it, and we hope this helps. And we're going to take a quick break because we're going to be hopping into Allison's favorite part of the show. The only reason she shows up to record this. We're going to be jumping into our What We're Loving segment.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Budgeting Basics email course. This email course is for anyone who is getting started budgeting or is tried budgeting and maybe it didn't work for them. It's a 6-day free email course where I will email you every single day for 6 days and give you guidance, printables, and tips and tricks to help make budgeting doable. You can go to inspirebudget.com/free-course to sign up.
Good recovery there.
Yeah. Recovery? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
That was awesome.
Hey, Allison.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Are you excited? Because I'm excited.
I am very excited.
Are you as excited as me?
I'm never as excited as you. It's just physically impossible. I could never be as excited as you.
It's just all the emotions,
Just, just
all my
vulnerability.
excitement just like is kept in my hair.
That's why I'm not excited. Anyways, Allison, it's time for What I'm Loving.
Oh my
Please tell us
gosh.
what it's about, Allison. Please.
This is the segment of our show where we share something that we are loving with you. It could be a thing. It could be a book. It could be a person. It could be an idea. It could be a curly hair products. It could be anything that we are loving that we want to share so that way maybe you can try it out, see if you're loving it as well.
And I mean, I think you gave a little tease there.
I
about
did.
What it is that you're loving. So we might as well just go with you first.
Okay.
Allison. What do you love?
Well, first off, I need to tell you that I have naturally curly hair. If you're watching live or if you're seeing the video, you can see curls for days. However, my curly hair didn't get curly until I was in middle school. So 7th grade Allison, before that I had dead straight hair and it was just a mess. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was already dealing with so much in middle school. You throw in a hair trauma is what it felt like.
And you traumatized your hair into curling up.
Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, I didn't know what to do, so I always just straightened it. I even would carry a straightener with me in my backpack at school because if it would get frizzy by 6th period, I could run into the bathroom during passing periods and straighten my hair super quick, just like the top.
Are there plugs? Were there plugs in your bathroom?
Some of them, yeah.
I don't, I never even thought to look in school, in high school if there was a plug in the bathroom. I don't think there was.
I did.
Guys
Anyway.
would have peed on it, so that's why there's no plugs in the men's bathroom.
What?
Because they pee on everything. Nothing's safe in the men's bathroom. So anyways,
Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. Why are you ruining my favorite segment by talking about men urinating? I'm
talking
in my
about the
happy
bathroom.
place.
You took it there.
Anyway, no. What?
You took it to the bathroom. Anyways,
Okay.
so what do you love, Allison?
So anyway, all my life I've had issues with my curly hair because I didn't really know how to treat it. I didn't know how to love it well. So I straightened it a lot, which led to me damaging my hair, all these things. Well, several months ago in September of 2020, when, the world just went to hell in a handbasket, I was like, might as well throw in a new hair routine. No one's really seeing me. Let me see if I can love my curly hair again. So I spent hours. I mean, I would stay up till like 2:30 in the morning reading forums and Facebook groups and all these things about how to properly use your curly hair. I don't know, treat your curly hair. And I realized that all those years ago, I was doing it all wrong. And so anyway, I get very carried away.
I'm on QVC right now.
So for the next 24 hours only. So I was doing it. It really does, doesn't it? Listen, if this company wants me to be a brand sponsor, I'm totally willing. But regardless, I realized I was doing it all wrong. And there are days when I still hate my curly hair and I want to cut it off and I want to straighten it. But my husband loves my curly hair. He prefers curly hair. So he's always like, no, don't do it. It's so beautiful. And he talks like...
I love your impression of him.
Matt's gonna listen to this and he's gonna be like, I don't talk like that at all.
He's gonna come home tonight. Allison, let me see that beautiful curly hair.
And you can't run your fingers through curly hair, so you just have to like just stick your hand in it and then let it go.
Just appreciate it. Stick your hand in it and appreciate it.
So anyway, what I'm loving today, this is long what I'm loving, and I apologize, but it had a backstory to it because this is a long time coming, is Kinky Curly Girl products. So what this is I use this Kinky Curly custard, and I was determined to find something that was a little bit cheap, on the cheaper side, because hello, I'm the budget queen. And this is, you can buy it at a drugstore. It's not like $50 or $30 like the other ones. I think this is like $9. So I put this in my hair, and then I also use this Kinky Curly Not Today conditioner and leave-in conditioner as well. So I love them. I'm still learning how to tame my curly hair and how to treat it the way it wants to be treated. But this has helped because look. I mean,
you're holding it like a pet.
We're gonna get some negative reviews after people see this because they're gonna be like, "Why is Allison so weird?" And I'm gonna be like, "You guys see the truth now."
Allison pet her hair for 5 minutes on this live recording. I couldn't believe it.
Anyway, that's what I'm loving. So people ask me, what do you use? So if you have a daughter with curly hair, you could try it. You can get it at Target, like CVS, Walgreens, Kroger, all the places. That's it.
Okay. That's a better beauty recommendation than the last time you recommended acid for people. So,
Which, okay, the hyaluronic acid, I just bought a different brand. I'm branching out, and I saw it at Ulta. I've used this brand before. Of course, I can't. It's called Ordinary, I think. So I'm gonna try that out and see which one I like more. But yeah, that's the hyaluronic acid.
Yeah, let me know how your acid treatment goes. To something less deadly. What I'm loving, Allison, is
what is it?
Sushi.
Oh,
you see how I just got straight to what I'm loving? You see how I just went right into it? And
yeah, we're gonna work on it. You need to start building it up a little bit better. We'll have a practice session later, guys. Don't you worry.
Please teach me your ways. So sushi, because I don't know why, but I've had like this strong craving for sushi lately, and I just love it. I mean, it's rice, it's fish, it's avocado, there's some vegetables there. It's just one of the most perfect types of food that exists. And I benefit from being out here in Southern California. There are a lot of sushi places, a lot of them. Why are you shaking your head? Do you not like sushi?
I had a really bad experience with sushi when I was 23 years old, 10 years ago.
You're supposed to buy it from the gas station.
I didn't buy it from a gas station, but I did get food poisoning from sushi. It was really bad. I'm not going to go into detail because Chris has already talked about men urination. Urinating?
Peeing.
Men peeing. He's already talked about that. So we're not going to, make this terrible podcast by throwing in, recounts of my food poisoning. But I had food poisoning from sushi once. And it's not sushi's fault. I realize this.
Don't blame sushi.
I'm not blaming sushi. But since then, I can't eat sushi. Because
fair.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You've never been to LA, so maybe you need it. Whenever you finally make your way out here,
Matt wants to come visit.
We will take you to a sushi place, and you can try it again, and hopefully you don't throw up everywhere. That's the goal.
Thanks.
or have it come out the other side.
Okay, listen, we're finally gonna get a negative podcast review about you and your inappropriateness.
Oh, okay, so moving back to something delicious. So sushi. We've been trying out different sushi places out here that we had a favorite one in Long Beach where we used to live, and it was it's amazing. It's like it's so fresh. It just feels like they just plucked it out of the ocean and just laid it over a bed of rice. But my whole thing is your face. My whole thing is there's so many like crazy types of rolls where they're like a million sauces on it, and there's all these things sticking out of it this direction, and it's all decorated, and it's hot. And I'm like, I like a nice, simple, cold
California roll.
Well, I want something a little bit, different than a California roll, but just something a little more simple. I don't need a million sauces on it.
You don't need it to be extravagant.
No, I don't need to be fancy. I don't need like little, sparklers dangling off the sushi and all that stuff. I just want something simple. But that's what I've been loving. It's been like fun going around trying the different places. The only problem is it is expensive.
Yes, sushi is expensive.
Logan knows. He knows it's expensive.
What did he say?
He
just
little sushi emoji up there.
I can't. It looks like a hot dog to me.
Yeah, it's emoji.
Yeah, it's an emoji.
It's like
Grandpa
one of the ones with like the salmon on top of the rice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you. I know you've your eyes aren't strong anymore.
They really aren't. You put my glasses on.
But yeah, it's just expensive, so I kind of have to slow down. We went someplace and spent way too much money on sushi, and I'm like,
wow.
This is maybe like maybe once a month type of thing.
Yeah. Can I ask you how much you spent?
Oh, yeah, we spent $80 on sushi. That was including tip. We gave a nice tip to this place. It's a place in LA. What was the name? I don't remember the name, so I can't give it
I wonder what that would be if you put it in a mutual fund.
If I invested that over the next 30 years, I would have $220. I don't know what that would be. You know what? It was worth it. I'll take that hit in my retirement account to eat that sushi. I'm fine with that. But that's what I'm loving. I have nothing else to say about it, just other than I like sushi.
You like sushi? Okay, I love it.
Yeah. So we're gonna leave the sushi talk and what I'm loving talk for my favorite segment.
Chris,
you're all about what you're loving. What I'm loving is the listener shout out segment.
Chris,
yes, please.
Did you do your job and put the listener shout out in the spreadsheet?
I don't need to put it in the spreadsheet because
I was like, it's not in the spreadsheet.
Our listeners so much. I just have it in my heart and on my phone right now. I'm not gonna lie.
In my heart, right, I've memorized it
on my phone. Here we go. Wait. I'm gonna bring it up here. So we got some really great responses to some previous episodes that we put out. And I always love hearing what people think about the shows that we've done. So this one here comes from Megan on Instagram, and it's m.graham. And she said, "Hey, Chris and Allison, about the lunch situation." So this is, remember we had that episode, our last one, where someone was going out and their friends were paying more than they needed to.
Yes.
So she said, about the lunch situation, me and my coworker turned friend just alternate buying the whole lunch instead of constantly splitting it. It works for us. So what they do is like one day, one person will pay for the lunch, and the next day someone else will. And that's kind of what I've adopted sometimes with certain friends. We'll do that where we'll just go back and
rotate.
And it's like, it works because it's not like one of us is going to McDonald's and then the other is going to like sushi. So we don't have those drastic swings. But I love that. I think it's a great solution if you have a friend you can trust to be around to pay
to be around for the next week.
Yeah, don't do this with like a casual acquaintance and be the first one to pay and you're never going to see him again. It's probably not.
Unless you want it to be us. You're welcome to buy Chris and I lunch, and we will join you for another lunch in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we promise. This one comes from Nikki .Holcroft. And this is also the same episode. She said, listening to your podcast about friends going out to eat, I always pay more, but I expect the more to go to the server, not someone else who's being at the table. So I didn't even think about that. Maybe they were paying extra, and that was supposed to go to the tip, and the other person was supposed to be reducing what they were paying. I don't know. I don't think that was the situation, but that made me laugh very loudly when I read that one.
I love it.
Oh, Allison, we've made it.
We made it.
Awkward episode.
We did. And it was really awkward thanks to you.
Yeah, I think it was me this time.
It was?
It was definitely me this time.
Absolutely
I'll take
was.
full responsibility.
Thank you
maybe
for
I was talking a lot about
bathroom issues. Yeah, let's stop. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and stop, Chris. Thank you to our anonymous writer who wrote in with their listener story. I really hope that you reach back out to us and let us know if you've had that conversation and how it went.
Yeah, please do. And also, if you want to be a part of the show, please feel free. Give us a call. We want to hear your voice, have you be part of the show. You can call us at 707-200-8259. You can be anonymous. You don't have to say your name. Or you can just, like today's, I was going to say caller, today's writer, you can send us a DM over on Instagram at This Is Awkward Podcast.
Yes. And so this has been very, very awkward. Even someone wrote in on Facebook and said it was awkward. So thanks, Chris, for that. And we're about to actually go and record, hopefully, a less awkward episode for Patreon community.
Yeah, we're going to be heading over into our Patreon post-show content. So if you want to join us, please head over to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast, and you can join us, become a patron, as low as $5 a month, and you can help support the show, but also get a bunch of extra content. If you're like, you know what, you guys were awkward, but I wanted to be awkward for a little bit longer, you can come join us over there.
And I promise to rein Chris in.
We'll see. Well, thanks everyone for joining us here live.
Yes.
This was a lot of fun. You put the pressure on us for us to actually do this the right way. And
do we normally do it the wrong way?
Yeah.
Like when we make mistakes and stuff like that. That's always you. You're always the one to make mistakes.
You know, I'm not going to lie. It typically is me. I am typically the one who's messing up. But then you go blah, 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 blah when you mess up.
I do go wah, wah, wah. That's what I do.
But no, this is fun. Thanks. I appreciate everyone taking some time in the middle of the day to join us on here.
On a Friday. Happy Friday. What are you doing this weekend? Really, before we go.
Oh, before we do this? Yeah. We're going to go buy a Christmas tree. We do not have a Christmas tree.
Y'all do a real one? Are you doing real or fake?
We're going to do a real one.
Good.
We both love the smell. Even though my sinuses are horrible and my sense of smell sucks, I still love a real Christmas tree.
That's exciting.
Nice. It's what I grew up with.
Yeah. I grew up with a real tree, but I have a fake tree because I want to put it up like in November.
You want to have it up for a month and a half. That's what you're telling me.
It's another light source in my house. And it's pretty.
What are you all getting up to this weekend?
So we are actually going camping, tent camping, with Cub Scouts. So it's going to be a socially distant camp out where basically every family has their own campsite and we cook all of our own meals. And then the boys are going to do their boat racing thing. So we were supposed to go tonight, but it's going to be raining. So we're going to go tomorrow. I was going to bring my dog and ask for forgiveness for bringing him because, but then someone found out about it and they were like, yeah, you can't bring your dog. I was like,
how did they find out about it? Who snitched?
Well, I asked someone, I was like, do you know if dogs are allowed? They were like, I don't think so. I was like, I'm just going to bring him anyway. Just, like. And
did they go tell on you?
Well, I think they asked someone else and that didn't say Allison's going to bring her 3-legged dog, but really. No, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say this is a disability thing. That's mean of me to say. But regardless, we have...
You're like, Susan, no one told you to go talk to anybody else about this.
I think I did, actually. I was like, do you know? And then whenever she was like, I don't know. I was like, well, I'll just do it anyway. So anyway, we are going to go... We have someone watching our dog. We're going to go on our little camp out. And that's pretty much it. Just, sleeping under the stars with my boys and a whole bunch of other kids. It's going to be great.
That sounds like something. Sounds like being outside.
It does.
You really need. That's what that sounds like to me.
We use air mattresses. Calm down. We don't sleep on the cold, hard ground.
I just imagine you dig a slight hole and then you lay in it and then you kind of pour a little dirt back over yourself as a blanket and you just kind of snuggle.
That sounds like a grave site. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Something is not right with you today, Chris. I don't know if you put too much beard gel in your beard and it's leaked up into your brain or what. I don't know if you just haven't had enough protein, but something's not quite right with you today.
Oh, I have not eaten today. That's probably the problem.
Okay, so instead of getting hangry, you just get weird.
Yeah, I mean, well then Logan's throwing stuff in here like Burger King. I don't know what that was reference to. I don't know if he's going to Burger King. But
that's what he's doing this weekend.
That's what he's doing.
You get your burger, your Whopper.
You enjoy that burger. You tell the king we said hi. And you enjoy that burger.
Oh goodness. Okay,
we've gone off the rails now.
We have.
Thank you to all of you for stopping by and watching us record live. We're going to jump into the Patreon. Oh, sorry. I was almost going to jump off. Purple Life said, yeah, that's a cemetery.
Chris, we really need to get you camping so that way you understand that camping doesn't mean death. Camping is not the end of the world. Camping can be fun. I love camping. One day, I'm going to invite you and Vina to go camping with me and Matt. You remember how we went and stayed at an Airbnb one time?
Yeah, indoors? I remember that.
Yeah, next time, let's meet up somewhere and let's stay in a tent. And you can have your own tent, and we can have our own tent. You're going to leave in the middle of the night and go to an Airbnb, aren't you?
I'm going to be like in a hotel room. Oh, this is great. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think can you really invite someone outside? It's not really an invitation. Like, you're not inviting me somewhere if it's just outside.
Maybe we'll just we'll surprise you. Like on your birthday, we'll just show up with like our camping supplies.
Yeah, now this is sounding like a cemetery murder situation. It sounds like a true crime. We're going to surprise you and take you outside.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we've gone off the rails. Purple Life thinks camping is awesome.
Yes,
maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe my understanding of what camping is completely wrong, and that's why I compared it to being buried alive.
You know what I'm going to do, Chris? I'm going to Marco Polo you all weekend while we're camping, and I'm going to show you behind the scenes of what it looks like. Okay?
Chris, here's a tree.
Yes.
Here's some water.
This is called a picnic table.
It's like an indoor table, but it's outside.
Yes. Okay, we really got to go.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. We'll see